the drawing tutorial, or a world tricked out of learning art. Drawing itself is extremely simple because you begin your practice by means of direct use of reference images, be it by using graphite paper, pico or wall projector, or reference images tool in Krita. I highly recommend that you get a cheap pen and tablet and use the Open Source Krita and rely on the reference images feature. Just set your reference image to 50% opacity and know that the eyedropper will pick perfect color from the reference image itself. How useful! As with everything else these days, begin learning Krita by searching the internet for Krita tutorial. Please, no, not to limit yourself. Krita, as in a computer program, opens up new doors. For example, your passion or curiosity for drawing may gravitate towards jewelry design in Blender, or even casting molten metal. But please be very careful, it is very scary. To return to the subject of drawing, early on, your biggest challenge is all the bullies that will try to belittle you and call your practice tracing. It is a derogatory word when used in the context of art, and twisted artists use it to eliminate competition or just lift themselves above everyone else. They don't want you to become special. Only they want to be special. One of the tragedies of the modern age is that a lot of good things are poisoned by lies and lack of real education. Sometimes I think lack of compassion also plays a role here. And liars are everywhere because of how easy it is to make shit up. Be strong, be ready. First in art and later in your great pursuits in life. For example, the pseudo-artists on TV really want to say,
"Oh, Vermeer was not a real artist. No. Fake. He was using camera obscura. He was tracing. And if I was into art, I would never, ever trace."
I'm serious about the liars. You have to be ready because they know it is easy to knock you off course and prevent you from becoming an artist. And in great many ways, you were born to create beautiful art. People who are most outspoken probably don't even care to draw. And real artists never call themselves artists. They will either decide to stay a permanent art student because of how beautiful learning art truly, deeply is, or become real art teachers that truly deliver on the first lecture even. Just because of how sad it is that everyone, pretty much everyone, gets tricked away from art. And how beautiful it is to see students deliver perfect, hyper-realistic drawings to start with, and then set off on the great journey beyond perfect hyperrealism. As to the liars, I really think what they really want is to stop you from growing in general. In their bird brains, they secretly believe that if they can prevent the world from learning for real, they won't really be as vile and stupid as they truly are. So your first lesson in a drawing tutorial is a question. Do you have the strength to ignore all the people who will come around and crawl out of their holes and say that it's not art because you're just tracing? Because if you can't ignore them, then you will never learn how to draw for real. I'm sorry. Worst yet, you may only know how to draw slightly crooked things and end up calling your works whimsical, when all you really deep down wanted was to create the perfect perfection that does your family and friends justice. That's not good. Not good. Liars are everywhere. They want to gain something for nothing, because they get a kick out of doing nothing. If they can trick you away from art or prevent you from learning as quickly as you can, and my goodness, you can learn in just a few weeks. Or if they can push you away from hyperrealism and trick you into whimsical doodles, then they will feel like they control you. They will feed their thirst to feel that they are better than you. Thirst that was probably beaten into them by other bullies. But that cycle must end, one way or another. So be ready to walk away from liars. Don't let them sway you away from art. The next step is what to do when people ask you how you became so great. Here, the same liars and destroyers of art will want you to lie. Again, they will be able to say, "She is a liar, she's just tracing." As an artist, a true artist that can change the world, you must be humble. And always say, "I'm just practicing my shapes." Invite others that are worthy of your kindness and teach them what you have learned thus far about using direct reference. Or just say,
"Even after all those years, I am still learning. I'm just practicing my shapes. I don't think of myself as an artist, but as a student."
See, you can't actually become an artist because you want to be an artist. That's how liars do it. They just love that label.
I'm an artist.
An artist?
I'm an artist.
I do art.
I'm an artist. I do art.
The liars are so poor in their minds that they resort to use of lying to make everyone else feel inferior with all their stupid labels. Don't use the word artist to describe yourself. Only those who see your work can apply that word to you. You can, however, call yourself a teacher of art and show others how to do it, how you do it. Never use the word tracing, though, because it is a bad word. When used in drawing, it is a word used to hurt real artists. Never forget that. Just say, "I'm using reference images directly," or direct image reference, and explain that you do it out of respect for your friends and family or models. The slightly crooked approach is kind of wrong, at least at first. Slightly crooked is a style you can practice later on, if you feel like it. You have to begin with extreme hyper-realism And you have to get over your shyness and exhibit your works at local galleries. I'm sorry. You have to be seen. You have to be heard. You have to be out there. You can't just sit at home with your doodles, because that is what the liars want. They want to see your passion for art or curiosity about drawing fade. Don't let that happen. Remember to always say, I teach real art, or I am a real art teacher, and share. Show others how to do it. Create tutorials or even classes at your local coffee shop. It's very sad, but liars have taken away art from almost everyone. And crappy teachers brainlessly shame the use of direct reference and hyperrealism. They're just parroting what they are told. The liars have won. They triumph over art. They are suffocating it. As a result, most people will never know that they were actually born an artist. In large part due to that stupid, sick myth of tracing being bad. See, hyperrealism and direct use of reference images are total and utter proof that you already have the art school in your hands, in your fingertips, that you were born for this. You learn art on your own in a process that almost feels holy. You will slowly understand light, the perfect shapes and the complexity of shadows on a face. Even if all you draw and paint is faces for the rest of your life, in the upcoming weeks, months, years, and decades, new observations will never stop coming. If you take to practice by direct reference now in just a few perfect portraits, you too will feel the sorrow of a world tricked out of art. And thus, portrait by portrait, you will grow. And grow into a greater and greater teacher. And thus, into a great being too.